All right, so this is the update to dancehall entertainer popularly known as Squash, whose real name is Andre Whitaker. All right, I don't know how the thing go already. Squash was caught up in a certain situation in the United States of America involving gun, which led to gun charges. And then he was apprehended at a local county level, and then he went from there into a immigration holding at Chrome Detention Center, and then the feds came and took him from Chrome Detention Center and now has him at a federal facility. The latest update. We covered this on our morning live recently. However, the morning live was 2.5 hours long, and a lot of people are going to miss the conversation surrounding Squash update. So we're just going to do a straight video about just Squash alone. All right. Welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. This is your host with the most. If you've never been here before, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on SouFLoTV or every time we update a story. Our last video concerning Squash is on YouTube, and it is labeled Squash Moved from ICE Immigration Detention to Federal Jail. That video was posted 2 months ago, and if you link the video on YouTube, you will see that the video has over 125,000 views. The video also has a lot of information in it. If you want to go and look it up, again, just go to YouTube search engine and type in Squash Moved from ICE Immigration Detention to Federal Jail and SouFLoTV, and you will see that video and hear all the information that we're probably not going to go over in this video. Now, while we were wondering what is going on with Squash, let me say this first before I go any further, just so people don't take us as one of those people who only talk bad about the artists them when they're doing bad. We also promote the work that they do as in their music, right? Right. So Squash just put out an EP or an album then, and it is called Hate Being Famous. It's at the top of my playlist right now. I believe that Squash is a prolific artist when it comes to the ability to write and the ability to deliver with clarity. Somebody said recently, you know, SouFlo, I think we need to start being able to separate the artist from real life events happening around the artist. For instance, you love the art, you love the music, you like a couple songs that the artist has. It doesn't mean that you support any illegal activities or any other activities the artist might be involved in outside of the music. And I completely agree with that. So, for those who are into dancehall and dancehall music, go and stream Squash latest EP/album, which is called Hate Being Famous. It is a banger. Nonetheless, it is a banger. Now, what's happening with Squash? On the legal level, taking this from Nationwide, but then we are going to add our own take along the way so everybody understands exactly what is going on. So the case of dancehall entertainer Squash has turned upside down. Basically, things just got worse. As Shano said, I'm me alone in the dark room. Yeah, him in a dark place right now. So the case has taken a turn with federal prosecutors now stepping in to take over the matter. When I saw that Squash charges have been dropped with the police in Miami, the first thing I said to myself is there is no way he could get those charges dropped unless something are going on behind the scenes. Well, it ain't behind the scenes. Those charges were dropped for a reason, and I'm going to explain. Our US-based correspondent, according to Nationwide, said that William Mitchell, shout out to William Mitchell, has been tracking this story pretty closely and has delivered to Nationwide, and Nationwide delivered to us, that says that squash criminal case in Miami-Dade County at the county level as state level is over. They don't have a case against him anymore. Remember, this is where he got pulled over with the car, with the driver consenting to a search allegedly, with them finding multiple guns inside of the car, including a Glock with a switch. You would think there would be happiness because Dade County no longer has a case against Squash. But the reason Dade County no longer has a case against Squash, it has been revealed now, is this is not good news. This is bad news. You know when we say things get from bad to worse and then from worse to wassara? This is the wassara part. It's not good news because this is how they work. The feds will step in if your charges has anything that the feds can prosecute you on. And they will say to the state, drop your charges against them so we can prosecute them in a federal court instead of you prosecuting them at a state level. So, long story short, Squash looks like he's about to get prosecuted at a higher level, which means more severe charges, which also means you're probably looking at more severe consequences, right? Let's break that down for you. So, Presiding Judge Ariel Rodriguez agreed with the prosecution's request to close out the case on Wednesday, June 5th. The prosecution asked the judge, let's drop the case, please, Your Honor, so that the feds can pick it up. At that time, Squash was actually in the middle of an arraignment hearing when they came in and said, close the case so we can get it. It is understood that Squash's arraignment was halted, came to a stop, a freeze. And then the feds say, give it to us from here. If you all remember correctly, on March 26, Squash actually went to the first arraignment hearing. Arraignment hearing is when you stand in front of the judge now and the judge is going to actually tell you what it is that you're going to be charged for and how many years you are facing, and then they're going to ask you how do you plead. Squash went in, he heard the charges, and he said, I plead not guilty. They also will ask you at this arraignment, what type of a trial are you seeking? Do you want a trial by jury or do you want a trial by judge? Squash at this same time, while he said not guilty, he also said he prefers a trial by jury. Under American law, the arraignment is the first step in determining if felony charges will lead to a trial. So, it now appears that his trial is set for a federal level, not a state level. Anybody who has fought the feds before and been locked in the feds before, they understand. But true, most of we never been through this situation before. May I take the time to explain so everybody who has never been through it can understand it. The charges of possession of a modified firearm and carrying a concealed weapon without a permit, those charges have been dropped. Miami, Florida, the state, Dade County no longer has those charges against Squash. But in their place, the feds have put 2 charges on Squash, which he will have to defend and fight in a federal court. His 2 new charges are 1 count of being an alien in possession of a firearm or and ammunition. Boy, it rough when them call you alien, you know, like say you come from outer space, you know. You end up in a these people place and them call you an alien. Rotted. That is no love. An alien. So they actually have a charge. That's one count of being an alien in possession of a firearm. Alien is like somebody when I really come from Yasso. If you break it down more simpler. Seen? Okay. Now remember we said that the state of Florida is a gun state. And recently Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, made it so that by law, nobody in Florida is required to have paperwork, a permit to carry a concealed weapon anymore. The only thing is, you better not have a criminal record because it will be illegal then, and or you better be a green card holder or a citizen, whether it's born here or naturalized. We told the audience before, Squash was neither of those. He's not a green card holder, therefore he is not a permanent resident and he is not a citizen for sure. So he is classified as an alien because he still had a case before the immigration courts that was being worked out, and he was on a probationary parole kind of level. He was one of the people who were, yes, let into the country. No, they were not told to leave. He did submit a case before the immigration courts, and this is where they tell you to report on a regular basis to a certain address. I don't know if you realize, I also put up a video yesterday telling you about ICE's new modus operandum, their way of operating. So they've been casing the hallways and circling around the buildings of these immigration courts. And they have been catching people at their mandatory hearings and dragging them off to lockup, expediting their deportation and kicking them out of the country, right? Of course, you have a bag of lawyers in the US who are saying this is totally wrong because the people them are going through the process and they didn't do anything wrong. Well, Squash is one of those people. He would have had to, had he not gotten in trouble, he would have been reporting to one of these places on a regular basis until the day came where he would finally stand before the judge and they will have gone through his case and found a reason to either tell him that he cannot stay in the US or you will now be able to reside permanently in the US. But before him could have get to that, this happened. And now him in a one bag of friggery. So he is classified as an alien, and an alien in possession of a firearm and or ammunition with it is against the law. And then his second count of, or his second charge the feds have against him now is one count of unlawful possession of a machine gun. Let me break that down for you now. Him guilty off of the back. Yeah, he is guilty off the back because, and I'm not saying it to make anything bad against Squash, he is guilty off the bat because any possession of a machine gun in any state in the United States of America is prohibited. It's forbidden. He is not even a permanent resident or a citizen. A machine gun is reserved for law enforcement people, not for regular people in the United States of America. Now, the fact that that gun that he had a switch, the modification of that gun that turned a semi-automatic into a fully automatic is where the problem lies, right? If him did have a gun where did a Uzi or something where did fully automatic, race out the clip regular cause that's how it's made to operate, it would just be that. But the part that he is frigged up at is because of the modification of that weapon. Chip Glock get you lots of years in the United States of America. The fact that he's going to go before a federal court to fight this, I don't see him winning this case. If it was a regular gun he was caught with, he wouldn't be in half the problem he is in. Matter of fact, the feds would not have picked up his case because the feds would have no grounds to pick up his case. People get catch with gun all the time and got prosecuted at a state level. Squash got caught with a chip Glock, commonly known in Jamaica as a chip Glock, a modified weapon. And there is a war against that type of weapon in the United States of America because it is used in a lot of drive-by shootings, a lot of gang warfares. It's dropping bodies in the streets. You understand? So they want to get those off the road. Not only that, they are more concerned about who is the manufacturer, who possess these chip Glocks, who is supplying the streets with these chip Glocks. We caught you with one. That means you have a link to a supplier or to somebody who knows how to get these. We don't want a lot of these on the streets. Next thing you know, they are going to be used against our law enforcement officers, and we can't have that. When criminals have chip Glocks or fully automatic machine guns and the local police don't have these type of weapons, the balance is imbalanced. So it's a serious offense. I'm just breaking it down for everybody so everybody gets to understand what Squash is facing. They went on to say that their sources in the United States Attorney's Office in Miami, they reached out to them trying to get some more information concerning the case, but nobody is answering. Okay, so with these two charges that Squash is facing, right? They each carry 10 years in prison. So he's looking at 20 years. Both of them, if he was a person who had previous convictions, it would be a mandatory 15 years apiece already. So he would be doing a mandatory 30 years. Now, if you know anything about mandatory sentencing in the United States of America or anywhere else for that matter, mandatory simply means the judge cannot modify your sentence. The judge's hands are tied. The judge can't look at you and say, you know what, he's a good boy, you know, and I think he apologized, and I don't really think he's a bad person, and he can be rehabilitated. I will give him 10 instead of the 30. No, if it's mandatory minimum, the judge has to sentence you by mandatory minimum. So the fact that Squash does not have a criminal record or previous convictions in the United States of America, that saves him from the mandatory minimum sentence of 15 years for each one of these charges, which would have worked out to 30 years. Whew! Good Lord. Him beat that one day. But the two charges he has are 10 years apiece, so he's looking at 20 years. Now, we don't know if they're going to max him out. We don't know if there's going to be a deal on the table for him. We don't know if he will do 10 instead of the 20. We know that each of these charges carries 10 years by itself, and he's looking at 20 years. If he is convicted of being an alien in possession of a firearm, then on the immigration level, that could 99.9% guarantee his deportation. Remember, he had no status in the US, yet he was an alien that was working on getting a status. So I don't want to put it out there that he will be definitely deported, because I'm not them, so I don't know. But the probability is that he will face deportation after his trial is over. What does this mean in the long run? It means that it's going to tie up his case for a while. It means that he will be in court fighting his case for a while. We all know that once you are given your case, then you have to wait in line for a date for your case to be tried, right? Because other cases are already up in line in the system who have next dibs on their day in court. So this can take a while before he even goes to court. So he could very well be sitting at a federal facility eating 3 square meals of slop per day. This is not Jamaica, where your family members can come give you your rice and peas and send a steam swim around with some okra and something pan it and them kind of thing. They come give you mommy brown stew with some rice and peas and something and some fresh vegetable a salad come give you. This is not Jamaica. You won't be seeing any outside food except for commissary food. You won't be tasting our traditional cooking until you free up from these people place. He could very well be sitting in this facility for months or even years before his case finally goes to trial. And when his case does finally go to trial, depending on how long that takes, him have to wait to find out if he's guilty or him beat the charges. And if he's guilty, he'll be sentenced. And if he is sentenced, he will be doing his time in a federal facility in the United States of America. And then after he's done doing his time in a federal facility in America, then he will be looking at probably getting deported from the United States of America. If you all remember, Squash was arrested in February. And when he was arrested, a FBI agent said Squash was not the person they were looking at. Him luck just not too good, because they were actually doing surveillance on another individual. You know, when we grew up in Miami, you see when we're brethren, them used to get hot. Them used to tell we say, yo, we don't want them around you right now, my G, cause we hot right now. And we just took cause we weren't street people, but we know street people. So we would have just say, all right, me I go that way there and you go that way there. But they would literally make us know, say, yo, me feel like my hot right now, brother. And I don't want them mix you up in my thing. You see me? Right. So according to a FBI agent, they were on surveillance on an individual, and they saw the individual give Squash an item that looks like a gun. They then radioed to the local police in that area and said, follow that car, follow that Mercedes-Benz, because the person who we are set up surveillance on right now, we just witnessed him give a gun to the individual who just jumped into the passenger side of that car. In the meantime, they also zoomed into the car and caught the identity of the driver of the car Squash was in, ran his file right away, and realized he was driving with a suspended license. That was reason to pull over the vehicle. So then pull over the vehicle. What are you pulling me over for, officer? Driver's license registration, please. We have reason to believe you're driving on a suspended license. Okay, boom. They were correct. Do you consent to a search? Because we have a reason to believe that there are contrabands in this vehicle. According to the police report, it says that the individual that was driving for Squash, he said to the police, yes, I don't mind you searching the car, officer. Go ahead and search. Now, me don't know why would I do that. But, you know, at the end of the day, they can make it look like how they want it to look on paper. If he said, no, I don't want you to search, and they said, well, F you, we're searching anyways, and I'm putting on the paper you said we could search, it's my word against yours, ninja. In court, what are you going to do? Do you think they're going to believe a federal agent, or they're going to believe you with your criminal ass driving on a suspended license with guns, illegal weapons in your possession? So they went ahead and searched, and they said on the paper that he consented to the search. Whole heap of people out there, I set up Squash and a dog. I set him up. The feds, I work with somebody who I work with them, who is a snitch, who is working to give Squash to them. How did he walk into a FBI sting and collect a chip Glock right in front of a FBI agent? Damn. It don't get no more, it don't get no more sour than that. So they said they pulled the car over, and when they were searching, once the man said, I don't have no problem with y'all searching, according to the report, the agent said the police officer went straight to the glove box because while they were driving behind the vehicle, they observed the passenger removing something from his waistband and putting it into the glove box. I seen a lot of people asking, how the hell them a go sit in the car and see man take something out of waistband, put it in a glove box? How you gonna see into the car while the car is driving? Hello? The people them can see in your car while you're driving. You see those blue and red lights? Them light up your car so that they can see inside of it and watch your movements. Anyways, what they did was them never searched nowhere else. They didn't pop the trunk. They didn't look under driver's seat. They went straight to the glove compartment and there was the chipped Glock. And I saw him get catch with it, right? As of now, for the time being, Squash remains in the Federal Bureau of Prisons at the Federal Detention Center in Miami, Florida, and he will wait there until his day is called up in court and he understands what he is facing, and he enters the guilty plus no guilty plea, and he gets a trial date and they go to trial. And then we'll take it from there. This is the latest update on what is going on with dancehall artist Squash in the United States of America. We're not talking about Squash brethren them who caught up in other things in the US and lock up and do time or waiting for their date for their case to go to trial as well. We're just sticking to Squash situation right now. And like I said, I don't want anybody label us as somebody who only covers the artists them when them in a trouble. So we are going to tell you again. We want to separate the artists from Wagwan outer road with the artists. We believe here at SouFLoTV that Squash, not Andre Whitaker, who is on trial, but Squash, the dancehall artist, is a bad dancehall artist. As in, he is a prolific writer. He has the gift to write and deliver with clarity and with feelings in the song them. And if you haven't checked out his latest piece of work, Hate Being Famous, please go check it out. It is worth the listen. As a matter of fact, it is super eerie. You have to listen to it to understand what I mean. Now, in closing this video, I will say this. A lot of people are saying, boy, by the time them done with him, they must send him go back to Jamaica with one scandal bag and nothing. The man come a foreigner, had a chance to become a millionaire. Could have they out here and make enough money like Buju Banton and Vybz Kartel and the rest who have them visa and doing shows and getting paid big bucks. But him go back to Jamaica broke after him do prison time. I want you to remember something. The blueprint has already been set. So if you have a portion of work put down, and if you have somebody who can work with you and manipulate that voice through mixing and mastering, etc., and putting it to a beat and making songs and doing your artwork and keeping your music trending, the dollars is just going to be stacking up. The dollars is just going to be stacking up. So I don't think Squash will come out of this broke. I think he will come out of this probably even more famous than before. This is not a regular 9-to-5 job. This job, he will still be able to book shows. He will still be able to do shows, providing that he make it through the process that he is going through. It just start. I know he's somewhere sitting saying, this too shall pass. And Father God, please, if you take me out of this, me promise. But him have to go through this. We're going to leave this one right here for now. Leave your comments in the comment section below, and I will catch you on the next video. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, but more importantly, hover over the subscribe button. It will give you 3 options. send me all notifications, send me some notifications, or send me a notification every now and then. I advise you to hit send me all notifications. This is the reason why a lot of you are still saying, SouFlo, how come you not get no notification? Because you subscribe but you never hit the option, so they only notify you every now and then. Even though we do videos every single day. So hit that option so you're notified as soon as any new video is uploaded to SouFLoTV. Walk good. I'm out. Peace.